Why is our man?
Feedback.
This is my dog, I can't hear you. Move down. Your mic.
Can't stay there now. Leave there. Leave that place.
Bring down your mic.
Shift back. You can't stay there. Your hair is. Your hair is even blocking.
Just put the hand
Are
down.
you good now? So your hair is blocking us.
I know, but you can put it down. It's just for you.
Yes.
Well, today we came for the ruling of the judge, Federal Judge Omar, regarding our no case submission. And he made a ruling about no case submission and took some positions that we had expected he would, but we wanted to give him the opportunity to do what is just and right. You all are aware, for those of you around this morning when we came, the moment we saw our friends from TVC News, we knew that they know the judgment that is coming, the ruling. That's why they came to us. But that's on the side. But we have had serious disagreement with the judge over the way he treated our lead lawyer, Marshal Abubakar, whom he asked to come and kneel down in front of us. And we had already taken a position that whatever happens, we will let him know of our disapproval of such conduct. So when he made his final position and took decisions that were far-reaching in the case, even though he kept saying to us that he's not supposed to say too much, but he said too much, which gave the well-known impression, the fact that he already made up his mind. And if you are in court and you see the way he was laboriously reading the judgment, you know that this didn't come from him. It was the state's decision. And we also know the sensitive periods that we are in, that Tinubu has been going around destabilizing political parties. And we know he had a plan for us. Their plan, we found out last night, was to convict me of a crime so that I will not qualify to become a presidential candidate in the next election. That was his decision. And the judge showed their hand very little today. So we decided that I should speak to the judge. And I did speak to let the judge know that since we no longer have faith in his court, and in all fairness to him, no insult on his person, but the court has failed to discharge its duty in fair, just, and I would say faithful manner. And we have decided that the judge, Justice Sowore, should recuse himself from the matter and return the file to the chief judge of Nigeria to be reassigned somewhere else. He was caught off guard. I must tell you, he said he was moved emotion officially to ask him to recuse himself. And then angrily chose a date that did not mesh with ours. He said we'll come back on March 19th. We already have a date, a court case, but they are too much in a hurry because they have looked at our party election calendar, and we're having our primaries towards the end of the year. They want to rush the judgment. The SAN whom they brought was asking me to enter defense right away.
Let me close the bag.
So that was what transpired in court. But the legal finding aspect of it can be explained by our legal Marshal. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The ruling on our local submission came up today. His Lordship posited rightly
Thank you.
The ruling on local submission. The ruling is not supposed to be lengthy. At the end of the day, my lordship gave a very lengthy ruling, and without evaluating properly the duties we have outlined for the prosecution to establish, my lord held in his ruling that the prosecution has established the prima facie case that warrants us to enter the case. That is new learning to me. It does not conform to the law as we know it and the requirements or justification for a local submission. Upon review of that particular ruling and the circumstances preceding this particular or accumulating into the proceedings of today, more so the antecedents of this case and the other two sister cases that is pending before this court, particularly the one that has been decided by my lord in the civil aspect of this criminal trial. We felt that it is imperative at this stage that we consult with the defendant to decide appropriately. Happily, the defendant was on the same footing and he informed the court that putting into cognizance the fact and the circumstances culminating into these proceedings, that it is our honest belief that another judge ought to try or attempt to try, or another judge ought to decide this matter going forward. It is the honest belief that all of these facts are shown that this court has a determined purpose as far as this case is concerned. It was on that basis that the defendant applied that another judge should hear this matter moving forward. We agreed with the defendant that at this juncture, this matter ought to be transferred back to the CJ for the assignment to another judge, which is the appropriate thing to do in a matter of this nature. His Lordship has asked us to come with a proper and a formal application so that parties can prove arguments on the date that such a motion will come on. We will consult further amongst ourselves, the legal team, and with the defendant, and come back before his Lordship. Although his Lordship imposed a date, which was the 19th of May 2026, I will inform his Lordship that on that date we are built to appear in two separate trials before the same court and before judges who are even senior to his Lordship, Justice Umar. Yet his Lordship still proceeded to adjourn the matter despite our registering our displeasure and non-availability for that day to him in open court. We also review that particular aspect of this issue and respond accordingly. However, whatever it is, just yesterday, the NBA issued a statement condemning the eagerness of state institutions, particularly those with procedural powers, to at the inkling of politically exposed persons consistently be in a hurry to charge Nigerians under the obnoxious Cybercrimes Act 2026, particularly Section 24 thereof. The NBA noted, like we've always submitted and insisted upon, that charges of this nature has an effect, a sizzling and a chilling effect on the right of Nigerians to critique those in government. We are now at a crossroads in this country where the government has decided to impugn on the rights and liberties of Nigerians, where the government has decided to abandon governance, and whenever any Nigerian has the temerity to challenge such an action, the state actors will already arrest such a critic and charge them in court. This is not democracy. In a country where the government has not implemented its budget for the past 3 years, in a country where Nigerians are being kidnapped daily, in a country where there is no infrastructural development to show for the national question. The state actors try to use the instrumentalities of state apparatus, using the same taxpayers' monies that were budgeted or should be budgeted for infrastructural development to hang and to deprive such persons from the right to so speak. Is this the democracy that Nigerians elected and voted for? Is this the democracy that Nigerians are yearning for? Why would the government be in a hurry to condemn and charge to court those who simply ask that governance should be for the people? Another clear case is the case of our comrade brother, Justice Crack. Justice Crack simply exposed corruption as far as military funding and expenditures are concerned, as relates to the feeding and the allowances given to these soldiers. In a Senate trial, the officers responsible for this feeding and for the welfare of these soldiers would have been summoned to explain what happened to the humongous monies that were budgeted for those feeding. They never did. The authorities went after the same person, the whistleblower, who should have been honored, given a national honor for exposing these ills in governance. And the same DSS, who has no procedural powers under any law in Nigeria, is the same institution that was vested with the right to file a charge against such Nigerian citizens. There was no investigation, there was no investigation report, none whatsoever. The army simply kidnapped this young man, tortured him, and handed him over to the DSS to prosecute. To cover up the atrocities that this young man has brought to the fore. What was Mr. Omoyele's issue in this matter? They are not comfortable with the fact that he speaks truth to power and he challenges state institutions to be responsible and to be accountable to the Nigerian people. I think it is very important that beyond the rhetoric of condemnation and issuance of press statements, all hands must be on deck to ensure that the whole state actors are accountable. Nigeria is not a police state. Nigeria is a democracy governed by constitutionalism and rule of law. We should never surrender the liberties that our forefathers fought so hard to attain from the colonial era. What we practice in this country is neocolonialism, modern day slavery of the Nigerian people. That must stop. Nigerians must demand accountability and an end to this impunity in high places. Nigerians should stop being slaves in their country. Enough is enough. Nigeria is for every one of us. Thank you.
Revolution.
Revolution.
I insist, and this is important. None of this will prevent the revolution from happening. The problem Nigerians are facing is that it is the people who lack legitimacy that are in power. People who did not win elections are the people who are presiding over our affairs. And that is why I can never regret, one, that I'm back in this country to face them. Second, that I will never tolerate a criminal running my country. Yes. It's as simple as that. Whatever it will cost, we'll give it to it. And we already know their position, like I said. We knew from day one what this was all about. And we knew from day one that the DSS was in cahoots with those who filed the charges and the people who are presiding over the charges. So don't worry about me. Don't leave this place, except those of you who, of course, are going to be happy that the judge did something for you. Don't leave this place thinking that anything will stop. We are going to get harder against them until we liberate our country. Yes. We are here for liberation. And there's nothing anybody can do about it until all Nigerians are free from the cabal led by the criminal who is now president of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Thank you very much.
Revolution! Now! Revolution! Now! Take it back! Take it back!